Baruch Yahuwah, Baruch Yahushai, Baruch Yahuwah, Baruch Yahushai, Baruch Yahuwah, Baruch Yahuwah Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kodash. That belongs to the apostles and the elders of GMS on true well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, man. You brothers that sincerely do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the free shaman, and this week's Little in Transit. And Lord willing, when I stop, what I'll just do is I'll bring out some scriptures with my Bible in the back. Speaking recently, I'm going to entitle this one Russia and Ukraine conflict on the Black Sea. And this is recent current affairs that happened where you had Ukrainian ships pretty much going in waters where they know that Russia occupies. So warning them, man, if you get into this particular area, we're gonna have to take down your ships, man. All right, not what they didn't take down the ships with any bombs or anything like that, but as you can see, Ukraine forced the situation to pretty much go into spaces that they weren't permitted, and Russia dealt with them. All right, now a couple sailors were injured. All right, some say medical, and of course the president of Ukraine is calling for action, and the president right now of Ukraine is, of course, a puppet. And you know, if you watch our previous lesson in transit we did after camp, all wars are bankers' wars, you can see pretty much why the bankers are doing what they're doing. Why is it such a push to provoke Russia? All right, because you got to remember, right now the Ukrainian government is pretty much controlled under the Rothschild banking family because they have puppet leaders up in there, and Russia established its own central bank. When you establish your own central bank, you make yourself an instant target for the elites, man. All right, and they provoke wars. Now, people are learning from history that when you do this, they come after you. That's how come this guy Vladimir Putin, as much as the United States and the West and NATO and the EU is provoking this guy, he's pretty much not falling into their traps. All right, so again, we've been saying it might be Putin, or they might have to assassinate somebody that's going to get with the program, because this guy Putin, as it stands, he's not really taking actions to escalate it to World War III as much as the Western powers are forcing him to. All right, America is doing very shady businesses, okay, such as tapping OPEC on the shoulder, all right, because America is in bed with Saudi Arabia, so they can pretty much dictate the price of oil. That's how come gas is so low right now, because they're trying to hurt exporting nations that rely on exporting oil, such as Venezuela, Russia, Iran. Okay, these nations rely on exporting oil, so of course they have the Saudi Arabians producing more oil, which, you know, if there's more something in circulation, it loses value. So that's why the value is low. Plus the sanctions, all right. Plus they're doing proxy wars with Yemen. They have Saudi Arabia doing proxy wars with Yemen. All this, all right, to overthrow the government of Iran, which they did back in the 1950s. So they want Iran badly, all right. So that's why they're doing what they're doing right now, okay. But the opposing powers right now, which is North Korea, Iran, Russia, and Communist China, because trust me, Communist China is going to come back on the rise. Because the scriptures in Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, speaks about putting pruner hooks in Russia's, Gog and Magog's jaw, meaning reverting Russia back to that communist way. And we know that China is allied to Russia, and you have secret communist people, all right, in China right now. So don't be surprised if they revert back to their regime, all right. But that made major implications. These Ukrainians antagonizing Russia, because NATO and the EU goal is to what? And I did a lesson on this. What? To get Ukraine and to get Georgia as a part of NATO and the EU, because what just happened recently, if Ukraine was under NATO, that would have been a declaration for war. So they want to create hostile tension between the Ukrainians, all right, and Russia, all right, which the Ukraine and Georgia was once a part of the Soviet Union, all right. They're trying to get these nations under NATO, man. All right, so when tension rises, now they have a reason to declare war against Russia. See, the bankers are trying to push a war against Russia because I'm not saying Vladimir Putin is no good guy, but this guy is acting independent of the major elite banking family's wishes, man. All right, because when you get in this thing, you realize that the Edomites are against each other, man. They're divided. Yeah, they all in their own secret societies. They all a bunch of devils. All right, but these devils are conflicted within themselves, man. It's who should rule and how they should rule. All right. That's like when we brought out all wars are bankers' wars. Yes, Benjamin Franklin was a goddamn devil, and Andrew Jackson was a goddamn devil as well. All right, because they don't give two fucks about our people, the real Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But however, they were warned against the Bank of England, man. Why is that? Because the Bank of England, they want to operate independently and don't want you to print your own currency. When you start printing your own currency and having your own central bank, independent of private bankers, they start fucking wars, man. So they've been trying to push the Sturge Wars badly so they could dictate, pretty much have one central bank. That's the goal, to have one central bank and one central currency. And right now, Russia's getting in the way of that right now, man. Russia's getting in the way of that. Okay? And this guy Vladimir Putin yes, he's still being diplomatic, but they force his hand. The Ukrainians force his hand, man. So expect, hey, man, the EU, which the head speaker of the EU was saying, pretty much that Russia. Long story short, they were saying Russia was all for what they did, but Russia wasn't really trying to start no beef. Russia was building a bridge right over there, okay, which they've been trying to do for years, okay. But the Ukrainians, being told what to do by the goddamn elite banking families of the world, they're pushing their hand, man. They're pushing their hand. They're forcing the hands of the Russians, man. Okay, now I'm gonna bring up something right here, man. And all this thing is just gonna lead up to what? The third world's war, man. All right. Because they really, right now, you can see also, not only the elites have Ukraine provoking Russia, the United States is getting in the way of China, because China wants to take over Taiwan, but America is getting in between that, man. So right now we're seeing a lot of conflict going on between these particular nations. All right, but the Third World War is not going to take place over there in Russia or Korea or North Korea. It's going to take place where? In the Middle East, man. I'm going to bring that out real quick. It's locked here. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. All these things that are happening right now, internationally, is all prophesied in the Bible. All right? It's like it. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong." Now, when the scriptures talk about beating your, when the scriptures speak about beating your plowshares into swords, is nations right now are diverting from agriculture. One time, during the Industrial Revolution, it was about, building up your agriculture, different lands, exporting different commodities such as wine and cheese, these types of things. Now it's all about a nuclear arms race, controlling oil, who has the most Tomahawk missiles, nuclear weapons, helicopters, missile defense systems. This is what things are being geared towards, man. All right? Now nations are taking pride in their missile defense system, because the scriptures in the Revelations speak about America lifting up itself in its brigandine. Now, a brigandine is like a mail, coat of mail to protect you. In other words, armor. That right there lets you know that when people are interpreting the Bible, they interpret it for their time. All right? Because when it was written during the time of the Roman Empire, when John wrote that, the Roman Empire didn't wear brigandines, all right? But during the time of King James era, they had brigandines, all right? They had coats of mail. So what's a modern day version of the brigandine? What's a modern day version of armor? The nuclear defense missile systems, man. So that's what, again, these nations are fueling towards that approach right now. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Now, who's the weak? The weak are these nations that are not capable of nuclear warfare, all right? But now, they're allied with nations that have nuclear warfare, nuclear weapons, all right? So you have Pakistan that has nuclear weapons. You have France, Britain, the United States, Russia. Because when America dropped the atomic bomb back in the 1940s, that had the nations tremble, man. They had them in fear. That's written in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter, all right? That did tremble the nations when the Americans dropped that missile and it became the harbinger of death. People were in great fear. Now the field has been leveled, and nations that don't have nuclear capabilities, they get backed by nations that do in exchange for what? Benefits on their natural resources, all right, such as their oil, okay, mainly. It says, let all them of war draw near, let them come up. Okay, I read that part. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathens, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down. So these heathens are gathering themselves up, man. All right? Everything is being set for this Third World War, man. All right? The angels are being present as well, the mighty ones. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is Yahweh Shaphat, which is the Most High's decision. And what's the Most High's decision? Judgment. Judgment over there in the Middle East. That's where all these things are going to kick off right now. That's how come you have, again, I'll keep expressing it. You have Israel, you have Saudi Arabia, you have the United States, and the ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel got exposed by that journalist, Khashoggi. All right, because 35 different states over there does not acknowledge Israel as a state. All right, so for Saudi Arabia to be doing backdoor deals with Israel, all right, that'll piss Middle Eastern nations off. So they did it in secret. But you had this guy Khashoggi, all right, which he was a CIA asset. He knew what was going on. He started reporting on it, and they murdered him. Okay? They murdered him. Which he has ties to the United States because his uncle did business with Donald Trump back in the 80s, man. All right? And why is the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Israel allied hand in hand? Because if you watch the previous lesson, you realize that they're all Amalekites, man. They're all so-called Jews, which are not the real Jews. The real Jews are the Negroes, Latinos. The real Jews are the Negroes, man, pursuant to Jeremiah 14:2 and Deuteronomy 28:68. Okay? And many more scriptures. Yes, the House of Saud, the Saudi royal family are crypto Jews, man. All right? You can watch lessons by GMS Holland, and you can do your own research to find out that all they did was change their name, man, during the time of the Ottoman Empire. Just like they did to infiltrate our nationality, the so-called Jews infiltrated many other nationalities, man, and call themselves other names, man. But you're Amalekites, Esau, pursuant to the Bible, man. And pursuant to the book of Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. That's how come a lot of these people of great power are actually what? Crypto Jews, quote-unquote crypto Jews, or Amalekites, man. It says, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen. See, the Most High, pursuant to the book of Amos, is revealing the secrets unto his servants, the prophets, man. And I'm going to get it. This is the book of Amos 3:7. Surely the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshua will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. All right? So what are some of the secrets? What's really going on behind government affairs, man? Why you Edomites are moving the way you're moving. The true nationality of all these different nations and where they fit in the Bible. Pursuant to the book of Isaiah 25:7, we're destroying the covering that the so-called white man has cast upon all these nations and revealing where they fit in biblical prophecy, man. All right, because everything is prophecy, and we're still living in Bible times. So the Most High has the prophets risen again, some of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the true prophets of the Heavenly Father. The brothers sincerely doing this thing on the banner of Great Millstone. We've been risen again, all right, not doing nothing new and prophesying the downfall of this fucking kingdom. Because before the Most High destroys the kingdom, he always sends his warning. He always sends his prophets to warn the people, man. All right. It says, continue on in verse 12. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All right. So right there in the Middle East is going to kick off World War III. Now, all these tensions, all these different things being provoked right now, but yet World War III has not happened. Why is that? Because everything is bound by prophecy. I'm gonna show something. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3. Actually, the book of Amos, chapter 4, verse 13. For lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind, and declareth unto man what is his thought. So who forms the mountain and creates the winds? Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai does this, man. All right? The mountains represents actual mountains, and the winds, different spirits, man. All right? And it's twofold. The mountains also represents governments. So the Most High forms different governments. So the different rulerships and these different superpowers that are going at it, they did the same thing back in the ancient times. To prove that, look how mighty the Egyptians were. And now, the Hamite nations, these different Hamite nations were very mighty at one particular point, man. Such as the Egyptians, all right, the Ethiopians. Okay, they all had their time to rule. But now you look at the Ethiopian today, they on fucking TV starving, man. So the Most High dictates where each power will be. And pursuant to the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter, all right, the nations of Edom, all right, it was said for them to rule at this last particular end times, man. And after that, pursuant to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 7 to 9, the Israelites shall bear rule, man. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says, for lo, he that formeth the mountains and created the wind, and declareth unto man what is his thought, that maketh the morning darkness, and treadeth upon the high places of the earth. The Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the power of hosts, is his name. So everything right now is being dictated by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right? Including what the prophets are telling me, man. Let me prove that too. See, the Most High seals every particular man's instruction. So what we're telling you is through the Spirit of the Most High. Every man speaks really through the Spirit of the Most High. Everybody on earth is speaking through the Spirit of the Most High. But we're trying to tell you that what? We're speaking through the Spirit of the Most High in terms of breaking down the understanding of these scriptures, man. All right, that's what we've been ordained to do. This is book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 1. It says, the preparation of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. So we've been ordained, all right, and sanctioned from the Heavenly Father, all right, to do this thing, man. All right, to warn the nations, all right, and to break down different particular current events. And there's a lot going on right now, man. All right, the thing going on the border of the United States and Mexico. There's just so much going on, but everything is in the play of the Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So much is going on that the so-called white man can't really get a grip of everything that's going on, man. As much as he wants to throw in his new world order, even amongst themselves there are disputes, man. But it is written, if Satan is against Satan, how shall his kingdom stand, man? So there's more things popping off current events-wise, all right? Just want to do a quick lesson on that, okay? Because that has major implications, man, all right? And expect more things to happen. And as they do happen, expect the prophets, Lord willing, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, to speak on it and show you where it fits in biblical prophecy. With that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakodash. Shalom.